In the dead of the night, our story begins when a woman riding a bicycle through the deserted streets witnesses that another woman tumbles in front of her, landing atop a parked car, and dies instantly. Following this, a man also falls down. Overwhelmed with shock, the girl is at a loss for what to do, until she glances upwards and spots a young man standing on a balcony. Sergio is the son of the deceased couple. He roams through the apartment, where blood is splattered and glass lies shattered. Eventually, he enters his younger sister's room, embraces her, and reassures her that it's all over. Sergio is arrested and sentenced to 6 years in prison, concealing the motive behind the murder of his parents. In prison, we find Sergio jogging when suddenly a policeman approaches him with surprising news. The judge has ordered his release. This decision comes because Sergio has consistently followed the rules and avoided violence during his time in prison. Sergio, stunned but grateful, heads back to his cell to gather his belongings. Shortly thereafter, a lawyer arrives to reinforce this happy news. However, there's a condition to his release. He will be guided back into society by a priest named Nathaniel. She hands Sergio a phone, emphasizing that he can only contact Nathaniel with it, as all other numbers are strictly off-limits. Additionally, Sergio's parents' house now belongs to him, pending his agreement to the conditions, she explains. Throughout his imprisonment, Sergio has been notably silent, avoiding interaction with others except for brief moments during visits. The lawyer further informs him that he'll be required to wear a monitoring device during his conditional release period. As Sergio makes his way to the metro, an uneasy feeling settles in. He senses that someone is watching him. He hastily exits the train as it begins to move and continues his journey until he finally arrives at his new home. In a different location, we encounter Dr. Anna, a psychiatrist who leads a team responsible for monitoring Sergio. They have surveillance screens that track Sergio's every move, both inside and outside his home. Dr. Anna instructs them that they can also use road surveillance cameras if necessary. Their primary mission is twofold. First, to understand Sergio's psychology and assess any potential dangers posed by his actions. And second, to provide treatment to help him confront and manage his fears. Dr. Anna acknowledges Sergio's intelligence, noting that his mother, Bianca, recognized this quality when she ensured he received the best education. Just as the team digests this information, a member named Michael returns, revealing that he is part of the team. Dr. Anna explains that they've added a heart rate monitor to Sergio's tracking device. She proceeds to show them a video in which the police instruct Sergio to recreate the crime scene, but he adamantly refuses. Instead, the police gather evidence and reconstruct the scene themselves. Sergio's silence in this matter leads to his indictment for the murder of his parents. The team speculates that the mother became upset about Sergio's tardiness, leading to a heated argument. Sergio's anger escalated, resulting in a violent confrontation that ended with him pushing his mother off the balcony. When his father intervened, Sergio pushed him off as well. As the team discusses the case, Officer Cabrera joins them, observing their work and, in particular, Dr. Anna's role. Though she dislikes his presence, she has no choice but to accept it. The team continues to monitor Sergio, who enters his father's office in search of something. He discovers a medicine vial, which visibly upsets him, prompting him to shatter it. After the bell rings, signaling the arrival of the visiting priest Nathaniel, Sergio heads to his room, but not to sleep just yet. He greets Nathaniel, a specialist in treating addicts and recently released prisoners. Sergio then leaves briefly, and Nathaniel provides him with a cell phone in case he wants to contact anyone. Sergio decides to reach out to a girl named Marta, who happens to be at the shopping center when she receives his message. Her surprise is evident. Meanwhile, Michael keeps a watchful eye on Sergio and Nathaniel, but amidst the bustling crowd, he struggles to maintain their visual contact. Nathaniel guides Sergio to another location, where he introduces him to his wife, Sylvia. Here, Sergio learns about the nature of his work, which is connected to agriculture. He realizes that this job is a mandatory part of his conditional release. As Sergio goes about his work, a man approaches him and makes a hostile comment, especially regarding Sergio's status as a murderer. Sergio's temper flares, and he strikes the man. Nathaniel intervenes just in time, instructing everyone to focus on their tasks and refrain from interfering with one another. At the end of the day, Sergio prepares to gather his belongings, but the hostile worker from earlier continues to follow him, clearly intending harm. In the midst of this tense situation, the nearby crops are being sprayed with a dangerous chemical. Sergio recognizes the potential danger and seizes the opportunity to protect himself. He quickly dons the worker's mask and hides from view. The hostile man, oblivious to the peril, persists in searching for Sergio. Due to his prolonged exposure to the chemical, he eventually collapses, teetering on the edge of a life-threatening situation. Anna closely watches these events unfold and observes the ambulance rushing the man to the hospital. Anna can see everything transpiring, and so can Officer Cabrera, who expresses concerns about Sergio being a dangerous individual who should not roam freely among the public. Anna counters, explaining that they don't yet have all the facts about the situation. In another location, we find Marta meeting her boyfriend, Eneko, who left work early to invite her to lunch. However, Marta declines, mentioning a friend's birthday party. She then heads home to retrieve a hidden contact number. Later, she waits for Sergio at his place, and when he arrives, they engage in conversation. Marta discreetly passes him a contact number. Back at the monitoring center, Anna and her team review the screens but struggle to discern the number Marta gave Sergio. Anna instructs her team to investigate Marta, with Michael assigned to keep tabs on her. Michael promptly calls the number but receives no answer. He resorts to sending a text message. Greta, Anna's assistant, manages to enhance the number on the screen and promptly calls it, searching for the owner's identity. In a short time, they gather valuable information about Marta. She's 22 years old, in a relationship with Eneko, and an occasional visitor to Sergio during his time in prison. They also identify the number's owner, Sergio's sister, Noah, who has had no contact with him since his imprisonment. The team is intrigued by the connection between Marta and Noah, and Anna decides to investigate further herself. She goes to the mall where Marta works and approaches her under the guise of a regular customer. Anna subtly mentions her knowledge of Marta's affection for Sergio and brings her to the team's monitoring center. There, she explains that many people admire criminals or those who have committed heinous acts, citing this as a common phenomenon. Marta defensively asserts her love for Eneko, not Sergio. Anna proposes that Marta can help by getting closer to Sergio and uncovering details about his past, as Sergio might confide in her when he wouldn't with anyone else. Marta promises to consider it and departs. Cabrera joins Anna and expresses his concerns about Marta being exposed to a dangerous situation with Sergio. He threatens to inform the judge about their operation. Anna counters by highlighting the potential dangers of not understanding Sergio's future actions and the importance of knowing his personality and past. As they converse, Anna spots surveillance cameras and realizes that Marta has gone to visit Sergio. At Sergio's home, he receives Marta, and they engage in conversation. We discover that Marta had been giving music lessons to Noah, which is why Sergio agreed to meet her while he was in jail. She is the first person he seeks out upon his release because he wants information about his sister's whereabouts. However, things take a tense turn when Sergio takes out a pocket knife and confronts Marta, believing she gave him the wrong contact number. Marta insists that the number she provided is Noah's, the one she used to communicate with her. Cabrera and Anna closely observe this situation, fearing that Sergio might harm Marta too. Cabrera orders the police to prepare for action and storm Sergio's house on his signal. However, Anna is confident that Sergio won't harm Marta. She monitors his vital signs and pulse on the screen, Noticing his growing emotional state, Sergio retrieves his sister's mobile phone from a desk drawer and explains to Marta that his sister frequently filmed and took pictures with it. Ana reassures Cabrera, who then orders the police force to stand down. Sergio shows Ana a video on his sister's phone, revealing moments of happiness between him and Noah at the beach. It becomes evident that Sergio deeply loves his sister. He grows melancholic, expressing that his sister is the only one who believes he's not a bad person. Sergio asks Marta for assistance in locating his sister, and as they talk, Marta receives a call from Enrico. She fibs, claiming it's her mother, and leaves to take the call. Sergio heads to his workplace and encounters the priest, Nathaniel, who advises him to seek forgiveness from those he has wronged. Sergio mentions that his grandfather, grandmother, and aunt have not forgiven him or spoken to him since the murder. The priest encourages him to approach them himself and ask for their forgiveness. Sergio resolves to do so and visits his aunt. However, his aunt is cold and unresponsive, having not communicated with him or forgiven him since the murder. She also opposes his desire to reconnect with his grandparents and threatens to inform the police. Sergio then reveals his true intention to find his sister, Noel. His aunt informs him that Noel is adopted and taken in by another family after the murder. Ana goes to Marta at her workplace, where Marta confides in her about her fear for her life from Sergio and her desire to distance herself from him. Ana assures Marta that they won't allow Sergio to harm her. She requests Marta's assistance in communicating with him and obtaining videos and information from his sister's phone. Marta reluctantly agrees. Marta pays a visit to her boyfriend Enrico at his workplace, where she learns he is a successful real estate broker. She informs him that she's not feeling well and would like to leave. Enrico becomes suspicious of her behavior and decides to follow her, eventually discovering that she's meeting Sergio. Given his knowledge of Sergio's background, he confronts Marta and scolds her. Marta feigns surprise, explaining that she just happened to run into Sergio. They share a hug and depart, leaving Enrico with mixed emotions. Sergio, on the other hand, feels anger knowing that Marta is in a relationship with someone else without informing him, even though he senses that she doesn't truly love Enrico. Priest Nathaniel accompanies Sergio to his parents' gravesite, where Sergio apologizes to them for his actions. Meanwhile, Enrico rushes to meet a client interested in viewing an apartment. To his shock, he realizes that the client is Sergio, but he conceals his fear and pretends to act normally. Marta arrives to meet Enrico as planned, but when she sees Sergio with him, tension arises. Sergio discusses his relationship with Marta and departs, leaving Marta and Enrico in a heated argument. Ana observes this on the surveillance cameras, but remains unaware of the cause of their dispute. In the meantime, Cabrera travels to the prison where Sergio is incarcerated. There, he bribes an officer to obtain Sergio's file and read up on his background. In the process, he learns about a girl named Beatrice whom Sergio is scheduled to meet. Cabrera decides to meet Beatrice and persuades her to leave her boyfriend, Charlie, for Sergio, becoming quite impressed with her. Ana engages in a conversation with Marta, suggesting that Sergio's actions might be driven by his awareness that Marta doesn't genuinely like Enrico. However, Marta remains unconvinced and insists on meeting her boyfriend. Ana tries to dissuade her from doing so. Since Sergio's house is close to Ana's center, she points out Sergio's presence on the balcony from the center's window, observing his loneliness. Marta becomes convinced to help and decides to steal videos from Sergio's sister's cell phone. As she heads to Sergio's place, Enrico watches her, growing increasingly angry that his girlfriend is visiting Sergio's house at such a late hour. He decides to take revenge. When Marta arrives at Sergio's, he opens the door for her, and they engage in conversation. Sergio eventually leaves for a moment, allowing Marta to search for his sister's mobile phone. Sergio notices her actions and questions her. Marta explains her desire to access his sister's phone to watch the videos, and Sergio, convinced by her explanation, hands it over to her. Sergio and Marta sit down to watch a movie when suddenly Enrico calls. He demands to speak with Sergio and threatens to burn his house down if he doesn't come down to talk. Sergio leaves Marta behind, and at this moment, Anna contacts Marta, urging her to seize the opportunity and steal the videos. Enrico arrives with his friends and forces Sergio away, subjecting him to a beating with their assistance. Anna witnesses the entire incident and promptly calls the police. As the boys hear the approaching police sirens, they flee the scene, leaving Sergio injured on the ground. Afterward, Anna searches for the stolen videos Marta has taken. In one of the videos, Sergio's mother is seen quarreling with him, citing his past troublesome behavior due to his temper. An ampoule of medicine appears next to Sergio, which surprises Anna, as it was not mentioned in Sergio's report. Suddenly, the video crashes. The following day, Sergio intends to go to work, but makes a stop at a store on the way. There, the police arrive and arrest him, based on Enrico's complaint that Sergio was responsible for the assault. Cabrera believes this claim due to Sergio's history of anger issues and his criminal record. Meanwhile, Michael and Greta wake Anna from her sleep to inform her of Sergio's arrest. It becomes clear that Anna spends most of her time in the office. She hands the video to Michael and asks him to repair it. Marta learns of Sergio's arrest through the news on television, feeling upset about it. Her parents, like most people, believe that Sergio should be detained as he is seen as a threat to society. They wonder about the connection between Sergio and Enrico. Anna visits the prison to meet with an official there and presents the video evidence of Sergio's innocence, highlighting that Enrico and his friends initiated the attack. However, the official refuses to cooperate, as their agreement is solely to monitor Sergio's psychological state, and she doesn't want the judge to become aware of the operation. Anna is frustrated, holding evidence of Sergio's innocence, but unable to act on it. Marta confronts Enrico about his actions, arguing that what he did was wrong. Enrico reminds her of her past betrayal when she cheated on him with a friend. He accuses her of getting close to Sergio just to make him jealous, asserting that he won't give up on the matter. Anna returns to her office, ignoring calls from her husband, Bennett. Cabrera informs Anna about Charlie, a friend of Sergio's in prison who was killed shortly after his release. Cabrera suspects that Sergio might be responsible for Charlie's death and attempts to convince Anna that Sergio is a sociopath and a danger to society who should be returned to prison. Anna, however, remains unconvinced and mentions the mystery of Sergio's unreported medication, believing it might reveal something crucial in his case. The next day, Marta goes to work and listens to voice messages from her friends, discussing her relationship with Sergio. She learns that Enrico is the one who spread the news about their relationship. Enrico also meets Marta's mother and informs her about her daughter's involvement with Sergio, urging her to intervene and prevent Marta from seeing Sergio or meeting him. Anna visits Sergio in prison and talks to the supervisor to ensure Sergio is not on any medication. On her way out, she witnesses Sergio in a confrontation with the supervisors, but it's clear that the other person initiated it. They subdue him, but Anna notices Sergio struggling to breathe and intervenes, calming him down due to their long history. Sergio is returned to his cell. Anna learns from her assistant Greta that Charlie was killed after his release, but it was over a debt he owed to someone else. Anna decides to help Sergio and sends the video where Enrico instigated the fight to Nathaniel, the priest, from an unknown number. Nathaniel is delighted and decides to assist Sergio in getting out of prison. He confronts Enrico with a group of young men and threatens to expose the video publicly if Enrico doesn't drop the case, forcing him to do so. Cabrera meets with a man to ensure Sergio stays in prison. Marta's parents discover her relationship with Sergio by checking her phone. Her mother is upset, and Marta leaves them. Enrico apologizes to Marta, and they talk in his car. Sergio is released from prison, sees them together, and messages Marta. She responds that she's with her mother to avoid conflict, which angers Sergio. When they meet, Marta tells Sergio she's no longer with Inigo, but he remains skeptical and walks away. Michael repairs the video, and Anna watches it, discovering that Sergio's mother mocked and teased him, criticizing his anger issues. Sergio tries to control himself, but eventually collapses due to nervous spasms. His mother was experimenting with a particular medicine on him. Cabrera meets with Michael and bribes him to delete all the videos Anna has of Sergio. The man Cabrera meets is the owner of the pharmaceutical factory that produced the medicine Sergio's mother was testing. They agree, and Michael accepts the money without asking questions. Marta apologizes to Sergio and assures him she has ended her relationship with Inigo. Sergio believes her and shares that his relationship with his mother was troubled. He expresses that he's not a bad person and was often quarreled with by his mother. Marta sympathizes with him. The next day, Sergio goes to work, and Michael watches him. Sergio notices Michael and accidentally makes him lose his watch. Michael looks for Sergio and is surprised when Sergio pulls up next to him in a car. Michael is afraid that Sergio might harm him, but Sergio simply asks him to stop monitoring him and then exits the car. Meanwhile, Anna confides in Marta about revealing their surveillance to Sergio. Marta explains that she had already informed Sergio that the police were monitoring him. However, Sergio is still unaware that he is being watched inside his home. Anna gathers her team and explains the situation, stating that they should cease surveillance of Sergio outside his house, as he now knows about it. Nevertheless, she wants to continue monitoring his psychological state. The team believes Anna is sympathizing with Sergio and straying from their primary task of monitoring his psychological integration into society. Anna insists that she is certain of Sergio's innocence and blames his behavior on certain medications he is taking. Suddenly, all the monitors go offline and are disrupted, and Anna discovers that Cabrera is responsible. She threatens to fight back, but knows that the maintenance process will take time. Sergio goes to work and talks to Nathaniel, expressing his frustration with the police surveillance and his desire to find his sister, Noah. Greta talks to Anna, expressing her interest in studying Sergio's personality and helping prove his innocence. She suggests contacting Noah, as she may know a lot about him. Anna explains that Noah is a teenager in a new foster home, dealing with her own difficulties. Anna doesn't want to add to her stress by asking about the past, so she prefers to leave Noah alone for now. Sergio works in the greenhouse and notices a girl there who appears disturbed by Nathaniel's conversation, as if he is harassing her. Sergio also observes that Sylvia is aware of the situation but ignores it. Cabrera and the person he's working with eavesdrop on Anna's calls. Anna visits one of Bianca's friends, a doctor, since Anna was one of Bianca's students. She asks about Bianca and whether she was giving her son any medications. He mentions to her that Sergio's father worked in a pharmaceutical laboratory, and his mother decided to try one of these medications on her son. He remembers clearly that she mentioned this to him, and that it was because of Sergio's tantrums. He tells her that when she died, he just collected all her research papers in a box. He allows her to check the box and takes it with her to her office if this helps her solve the riddle of Sergio's parents' death. At her office, Anna plays the voice recordings of Bianca stating that the medication she was testing on her son has a positive outcome, and that her son now can control his anger, however, nominally. Anna discovers some pictures of Sergio taken from a particular angle and becomes curious about their source. She decides to investigate further and goes to Sergio's apartment. After an extensive search, she stumbles upon a hidden compartment in Sergio's room. Inside, she finds evidence that Sergio's mother had been secretly monitoring her son without his knowledge, including photos, medications, and other items. Anna gathers these materials in a box, and as she leaves, notices Sergio returning to his apartment. To avoid being discovered, she hides inside the secret compartment until he departs. Back at the center, The repaired cameras allow Greta to monitor Sergio's apartment. She worries for Anna's safety, fearing that if Sergio finds her, he might harm her. Just then, Nathaniel calls Sergio to meet him downstairs. Sergio leaves his apartment, giving Anna the opportunity to escape. While exiting, Sergio encounters Marta's father, who pleads with him to stay away from his daughter and not contact her again. The encounter becomes heated, and Sergio pushes Marta's father, causing him to fall and injure his arm. Sergio quickly escapes on a bus before anyone can react. Anna returns to her office and shares the details of her discovery with Greta. She hands over the medications and asks Greta to research them. In his car, Cabrera eavesdrops on the conversation in Anna's office and becomes concerned that they are getting close to uncovering the secret of the medication. At work, Sergio notices that Nathaniel has brought a group of journalists. Nathaniel advises Sergio to tell the journalists that he's searching for his sister but is being harassed by the police. This way, he might gain sympathy from the public. Sergio feels frustrated and confronts Nathaniel about his true intentions. In a heated moment, Sergio becomes agitated and brandishes a tool as if to strike Nathaniel, who uses this opportunity to calm him down in front of the journalists, portraying himself as a hero. The tactic works, and Nathaniel leaves the scene without explaining anything to the journalists. Cabrera meets with Greta, seemingly interested in recruiting her for something. Meanwhile, Marta learns about her father's injury and thanks Enrico for taking him to the hospital. Enrico invites her to hang out with his friends, and Marta agrees. When Sergio calls her, she ignores his calls. In Sergio's apartment, he reflects on what he did to Marta's father and feels a sense of loneliness creeping back into his life. That night, Anna returns to her home. Anna's husband expresses his frustration about her absence at home, especially in recent days, and mentions that she missed their daughter's birthday. Their daughter, Noah, who was adopted by Anna and her husband after her parents' death, joins the conversation and hugs her mother. The next day, Greta calls Anna to inform her that Sergio hasn't gone to work and is not attending his required police station evaluations during his conditional release. This negligence could lead to his return to prison. Anna tells Greta that she's taking the day off but instructs her to continue monitoring Sergio until her return. At Anna's home, her husband Bennett and Noah wake up. Anna decides to take the day off to spend time with them. Noah mentions that she has a school concert, and Bennett shares that he has a meeting at the school, suggesting that Anna could accompany him. She agrees, and they plan to attend the concert together. Meanwhile, Cabrera visits Sergio and serves him a warning notice due to his absence from work, emphasizing that his behavior might result in a return to prison. He then contacts Greta, revealing that he has obtained the medication Sergio's mother was administering to her son in exchange for helping her secure a job promotion. Enrico decides to reconcile with Marta and takes her to an apartment, intending to rent it for them. He proposes to her, and Marta happily accepts. Enrico excuses himself to fetch something from the car, and during his absence, Marta checks his phone and discovers that he took a picture of them together, likely to use against her if his family and friends find out about her relationship with Sergio. When Enrico returns, Marta confronts him about this betrayal and decides to end their relationship. Anna accompanies her husband to the school appointment for their daughter, Noah, and notices that the teacher seems to know a lot about her daughter, more than she does. This raises suspicions of her husband having an affair with the teacher. Anna abruptly leaves the meeting, and her husband follows her, apologizing to the teacher for the disturbance and blaming Anna's stress from work. Greta calls Anna and informed her that Sergio has gone to the police station and hasn't returned yet. Anna decides she can't go to work at the moment and asks Greta to keep her updated. Shortly after, Greta receives information from Michael that Sergio has gone to visit his grandparents. At his grandparents' house, Sergio inquires about the whereabouts of his sister, Noah, but his aging grandfather struggles to remember. His aunt arrives and angrily demands that Sergio leave. Immediately, Sergio attempts to persuade her by offering to give up his share of the inheritance in exchange for information about Noah. The aunt agrees and provides him with Noah's address. Cabrera delivers the box of medication to the mysterious man and hands it over. Concerned about the police discovering the nature of the medicine, the man tosses it into the sea. Meanwhile, back at the office, Greta searches for the eavesdropping device planted by Cabrera and finds it, revealing that she had only pretended to assist him and kept a portion of the medicine for herself. In this part of the story, Anna and her husband, Bennett, discuss the idea of Noah, whom they adopted, meeting her biological brother, Sergio. Bennett strongly opposes the idea, and tension arises between them. He accuses Anna of prioritizing her work and suggests that their relationship is suffering because of her attachment to Sergio. Bennett also reveals that when Sergio was in prison, Anna sent personal letters to him under the alias of Christina. Sergio manages to remove the monitoring device from his leg. At his workplace, he encounters the girl whom Nathaniel has been harassing and confirms Nathaniel's misconduct to her. When Nathaniel arrives, the girl retaliates by hitting him on the head. Sergio is tempted to harm Nathaniel, but Sylvia intervenes and dissuades him. She informs Sergio that the police are on their way to arrest him for tampering with the monitoring device, prompting him to flee. Sylvia and the girl then assault Nathaniel, resulting in his death. Sergio, now on the run, attempts to contact his sister, Noah, who is at a party. However, she is unaware of his messages as Anna has been monitoring her device. When Noah finally sees Sergio's message, she leaves the party unnoticed. Sergio returns home, hoping for a call from Noah. Instead, he finds Anna waiting for him. She reveals that she is Noah's biological mother and offers to help him reunite with his sister, provided he keeps her monitoring a secret. Greta and Michael, who are watching the events unfold on camera, are puzzled by Anna's actions. Sergio is initially skeptical, but becomes more convinced when Anna calls Noah. Upon returning home, Bennett and Noah answer Anna's call. Bennett adamantly refuses to expose their daughter to any potential danger, preventing a meeting between Noah and Sergio. Despite Noah's desire to see her brother, Bennett remains firm in his decision. Meanwhile, at the police department, Nathaniel's body is discovered, leading to Sergio being named the prime suspect due to the presence of the monitoring device near the body. The police set out to arrest him, and Noah overhears the conversation between Sergio and her mother, demanding to see her brother against her father's wishes. During this part of the story, Greta calls Sergio, urging him to let Noah see him. She explains that Anna's life is in danger because Sergio may harm her. Sergio, growing increasingly agitated, starts to threaten Anna. She attempts to gain his trust and buy some time, revealing that she has researched his situation and discovered that his mother was experimenting with medicine on him. Anna takes him to the hidden room where his mother conducts her experiments, leaving Sergio bewildered by what he finds. Marta arrives to apologize to Sergio for not answering his calls earlier. When she sees Anna in the room, she realizes Anna's secret about monitoring him. To prove her honesty, she points out the location of hidden cameras in Sergio's apartment. Sergio, overwhelmed by anger and frustration, smashes the cameras. Inako comes to rescue Marta out of fear for her safety around Sergio, and they engage in a fight. Sergio is on the brink of killing Inako, but Anna intervenes, reminding him that if he does, he won't be able to see Noah. Marta takes Inako away from Sergio, vowing never to forgive him. Michael decides to report to Cabrera about his involvement in deleting incriminating videos related to the medicine laboratories in exchange for bribes. Noah convinces her father to meet Sergio, and they both go to the control room at the center to understand the situation better. Sergio finally opens up to Anna about what happened on the day of the murder. He explains that he was once a normal person, but his mother used him as a test subject for various medications. One day, she decided to experiment on Noah, which prompted Sergio to confront his father about it. During their argument, Bianca lost her balance and fell off the balcony. In a fit of guilt, Sergio's father then took his own life by also falling from the balcony. Anna expresses sympathy for Sergio, revealing that she's relieved he's innocent and sharing her own experiences of feeling unloved, even though her mother pretended otherwise in public. She confesses her love for Sergio and assures him that she will never harm him. However, Noah, knowing the truth, goes to meet her brother and hugs him. The reality is that Sergio's mother wasn't conducting medication experiments on him. Instead, Sergio had severe anger issues. To manage his outbursts, she was giving him sedative pills. One day, Sergio didn't take the pills, believing they were harming him, and he chased his mother with a sharp object, leading to her fall from the balcony. His father also fell while witnessing this, and Noah, who saw it all, hid in fear of her brother. Sergio hugged her until the police arrived. In truth, Sergio is not innocent. He committed a double murder by killing both of his parents. Noah wants to leave with her mother before Sergio takes any action, but Anna insists that Noah must go to her father because she has to stay with Sergio for a reason. Sergio is overwhelmed by the recent events, and Anna tries to calm him down. The police arrest Cabrera for his actions and proceed to enter Sergio's home cautiously, trying to avoid exposing Anna to danger from Sergio. Unfortunately, Sergio loses control once again and throws Anna off the balcony, resulting in her immediate death.